What's up, y'all? Fly morning and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome to Photography by Dash. My goal on this channel is not to overdo anything, just simply give my viewpoint and my experience as a photographer. And with that being said, let's get into today's video, how to become a better photographer, part 2. Now, I recently just went to New Orleans.
Michael Jackson or OJ Glove.
It's a dope vibe, it's a dope place. And while I was down there, I wanted to challenge myself with a project. Now, I stayed right by Bourbon Street, and of course, Bourbon Street is known for the party life, the nightlife, and the tourist attractions. But if you go out there real early, it's like a whole different place. Like, you just really see the aftermath of the night prior. The stuff that might not necessarily be glorified, the stuff that the tourists might not want to see. And that's actually what I wanted to capture in my photos. Just the aftermath from the night prior. So that experience alone inspired me to make a part 2 onto how to become a better photographer. Oh, while I was down there, I got some art. I feel like it's pretty dope. This video is gonna consist of 3 tips, 3 simple tips that I feel like helped me while I was in New Orleans, trying to capture those photos. And follow-up tip number 1 is don't be afraid to make mistakes. I feel like the best way to get better at anything is simply going through the process, trusting the process, making the necessary mistakes so you learn from those mistakes. Prior to photography, I went to school for audio production and engineering. Now in school, I learned a lot in theory, but I feel like I learned the most when I was literally in the field, in the studio, pushing buttons, just making the necessary changes and mistakes so I would literally learn from those mistakes. And I feel like that goes for learning anything in life. The best way to learn is in the field, in the moment. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Nothing happens overnight. Just give yourself a chance. Make those mistakes. Trust me, the mistakes are the learning curve. When you make mistakes, that's when you learn. So make those necessary mistakes so you can learn from those mistakes. And follow-up tip number 2 is convey your story. And convey your story is interesting because I feel like I struggle with this personally. I like to consider myself to be more laid back and reserved. But I feel like when you're transparent in your work, that's what people relate to. That's what people connect to. That's what separates good photos from great photos. Like, think about your favorite music artist or your favorite song or like a classic song that stood the test of time. Why does that song stand the test of time? And I feel like it's because it struck an emotion to the listener, and it triggered an emotion out of the person that was listening simply by the artist conveying their story. And I feel like we do the same as photographers, just in a different way, just through photographs. Our photos trigger an emotion out of the viewer, out of the client, out of the audience. So I feel like that's why it's important to convey your story. And like I said, this is something that I was struggling with, and I just had to find that balance. So just find a way to convey your story in your work. And follow-up tip number 3 is get comfortable just to get uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is get comfortable enough with everything that you need to know, just like I mentioned in my previous video, the fundamentals and the basics. But once you do that, that's when you could stand on your own 2 feet as a photographer. That's when you can start to shine. Like, a lot of the greatest photos weren't politically correct. Rules are made to be broken. So once you know the rules, you can break the rules. But I like to put it as play the game so you can change the game. Those are my follow-up tips onto how to become a better photographer. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, convey your story, and get comfortable just to get uncomfortable. In conclusion, I feel like in life we're always looking for this safety net, this plan B, this what if, right? But I feel like that's the beauty of being a photographer, or photography period, because it allows me to be free, and it allows me to be expressive and express myself however I want. And for my following photographers, I feel like these 3 tips help you be free and expressive and become a better photographer. Also, if you're not a photographer, for my viewers, in whatever you're doing, whatever your craft that you're passionate about, or just whatever you're doing, period, how can these 3 tips be taken into consideration? How can you make the mistakes so you learn from those mistakes? How can you convey your story in whatever you're doing? And how can you get comfortable just to get uncomfortable? I really want you to think about that and take that into consideration. So to conclude this video, I hope this helped in some way, shape, or form. Consider subscribing, like, comment. I would love to hear your feedback, and I will see you guys at the next video.